This is Warsaw, the new Warsaw, the Warsaw of the 21st century. New buildings going up in front of me, buildings which will cost around 4,000 euros per square metre if you want to buy property there. New and certainly of the best European quality that we can get. There we have another part of the new Warsaw, the underground station. The underground station at Dworzec Gdański, built in the last couple of years. Again, very modern design, latest trains, very attractive. But here, behind me, is the Dworzec Gdański itself, a railway station which clearly from the 1950s, 1960s, a station which has existed on this spot for at least 100 years. And the reason I wanted to show this is because of the effect that this railway station had on history, because it was a branch line from this station, which is here in front of me now, which led to a point which was in the roughly 800 to 1,000 meters in front of me, which led to the Umschlagplatz, which took the population of Warsaw, the Jewish population of Warsaw, at least 250,000 people, and probably far in excess of that, to the death camp at Treblinka in the summer of 1942. The Umschlagplatz stands on the same street as the big green building in front of me, Ulica Stawki, and although it is somewhat to the west of that building. From this little station, and that's all it is today, a little station which doesn't have any great importance, so many people went to their deaths in a short period of time. So this is the Dworzec Gdański today. This is the site of the Umschlagplatz today. The building in front of me stood on this site before the war. It was then a school, as part of it is today. In 1940, when the Nazis created the ghetto, they ordered the closure of the Jewish hospital, which was in the west of the city. The doctors, seeking a suitable building, made the building in front of me part of that hospital. In July 1942, when the deportations began, the Nazis ordered everybody out of the hospital within 24 hours. If they couldn't move, well, too bad. The Nazis would make them move to the other world. And this building became part of the deportation complex. I say complex, it's not really the word, because the prisoners were held in an area which is roughly in front of me now. There was a wall where the current buildings end. There was a wall that blocked it off. This was the holding pen for the Umschlagplatz, today a road. The building, which is on the southern part of the road, was also part of the ghetto. Other than that, these are just about the only structures still standing from the northern part of the ghetto, which is north of what is today Solidarności. This is the ghetto today. New buildings, socialist blocks from the 1950s, 1960s, built on the ruins of the ghetto, which was destroyed in May 1943. Today there is a memorial to the dead, which is this monument in front of me, built in the 1990s, the Umschlagplatz Memorial. Somewhere behind this point here ran the train lines which ran to the Dworzec Gdański, the Gdańsk railway station, and from there on to Treblinka. Those railway lines were part of a sideline which was built between the wars to carry goods from the Gdańsk railway station to a factory which stood near this site. So the point I'm at now is part of the holding pen for the prisoners who were to be taken to Treblinka, largely in the summer of 1942. Some of them were kept here, and others in the building which is in front of me now. The former school building, former hospital after that. This building an evening on the 1st of October 1944 was captured by elements of the Home Army during the Warsaw Uprising. In that moment they freed around 50 Jewish prisoners who had been working here. This was part then of an SS unit sub-camp of the Majdanek concentration camp, and clearing up what had been the Warsaw Ghetto. This is the Umschlagplatz memorial today, built around 1998. The railway lines which led to the death camps were somewhere in front of me. Now apartment blocks in their place, new ones and old ones. On the walls of the memorial are the first names of the victims. We don't know the surnames, of course, so the first names are often taken to be as good a symbolism as anything. The walls of the memorial here are symbolic of the height of the ghetto, and as we see everywhere in places of martyrology, of mass murder of Jewish people, we have the same line from the Bible: "Earth, hide not my blood." People were deported here largely in the summer of 1942, and so obviously there wouldn't have been snow then. Another deportation took place in January 1943, which was not very successful for the Nazis, because they were met by resistance. The only people really they succeeded in rounding up many large numbers were functionaries of the Jewish ghetto, such as the Jewish police. And obviously again during the Warsaw Uprising, from 19th of April to the 9th of May 1943, people were deported from this point, initially to Treblinka, later to Majdanek as well. Some people who survived because they went prior to Majdanek, when from there they may have been deported to Auschwitz. Those who stayed in Majdanek, of course, were murdered on the 2nd and 3rd of November 1943. People who survived Auschwitz did so because they were outside of the general government, and the orders to kill all the Jews in the general government didn't affect those who had been by this time deported outside, though of course they were subject to the same type of selection as others. Less than 2% of the population of the Warsaw Ghetto survived. Most of them around 20% of them never got it this far. They died of starvation and diseases such as typhus, which were caused uniquely by the Nazi policies.